Back when I was studying to become an NLP trainer in 2001, 2, and 3, one of the things that was drummed into us is that clients have all the answers they need inside of themselves. And our jobs as coaches and practitioners and master practitioners and trainers was to help them to access those answers. But there are two really big problems I've discovered over the past 20-something years with this approach. The first one is clients don't have all the answers they need inside of themselves, yeah? There are things we've not experienced. There are things we've not learned how to do. There are answers we do not have. Okay, and if we assume as coaches that they do, and we just keep bashing the client over the head very lovingly with our best coaching tools and our deepest rapport, wondering why they won't come up with an answer that maybe is obvious to us, we actually risk causing harm. We risk them disengaging from the coaching process and blaming themselves, feeling like a failure. Now, there's another problem when we're looking at this. So the World Health Organization says that 70% of adults have experienced trauma in their lives. And that trauma doesn't just sit with that one neat little thing that happened. It can become quite pervasive. It actually changes neuroplastically the nervous system and the primal part of the brain that deals with fear and emotions. It rewires them to become more sensitive. Somebody can become what's called hypervigilant, where they are constantly on the lookout for threats. So if a client's working on a change that maybe is a bit scary for them, what happens is the amygdala goes, whoa, red alert. Okay, this hypervigilance kicks in. The entire nervous system, including the vagus nerve, which talks to all the organs in the body, says, we're at risk, there is a threat. The body then deprioritizes blood flow to the prefrontal cortex in the brain, to the fight, flight, freeze, fawn response to be able to survive. If a client has all the answers inside of themselves, they're going to be stored here in the prefrontal cortex. It's like a library, yeah? Except what happens when the fear response kicks off is the door gets locked. And it doesn't matter how many eloquent reframing questions we ask a client, if the door to that answer library is locked hard because the nervous system is saying, hey, there's a threat here, we're on alert, they're not going to be able to access those answers. So clients having all the answers inside themselves, there are many things where they do. And asking questions to allow clients to come to their own conclusions and do what's best for them can be really useful. But I've spent the past 20 years researching that we actually need more of a blend of coaching and mentoring. Sometimes it's okay to help a client see they've got a blind spot and help them to make a decision and help them to gain insights and information that maybe are not readily available inside of themselves because the prefrontal cortex doesn't have access to that information, or the client hasn't had the lived experience. So in my master coach programs, one of the things we do is we do walk on both sides of that line between coaching and mentoring. If we have a technique or a tool that can really help a client, we will teach it. Yeah, we move away from non-directive coaching. It's still a really important part of the process. But if you keep insisting on believing that a client has all the answers they need inside of themselves, well, the work I do with imposter syndrome took me 10 years of researching, studying, experimenting, refining to develop. So yeah, the client might be able to find the answers in the end, but that could be a really slow route for them that's very likely to make them give up and risks turning into therapy. Sometimes it's okay to give clients answers that already exist. Yeah, if they are rabbit in headlights and they cannot see a solution to their problem, it's okay to offer options. It's okay to make suggestions. The key to this is not being attached to them agreeing with us, not being attached to us being right. Because then if the client asks their body, how does that sit? How does that feel for me? If there's a relief and a relaxation, you know it's a good fit for the client's nervous system. If there's a tensing, you know that maybe there's a kernel of work that still needs to be done there. So I no longer believe that clients have all the answers they need inside of themselves. It doesn't mean I'm going to tell them what to do and think, but it does mean that I'm much more comfortable, and my coaches are so much more comfortable with helping clients achieve the results they're really looking for in ways that are fast, fun, forever, and above all, safe.